It's a major scandal rocking the Democrat world. Not that it's a very big world at this point, because most people don't have a positive view of the Democratic Party. But Harry Sisson, a prominent personality for Gen Z Democrats, has been caught in a scandal involving explicit photos. I won't sugarcoat it for you, my friends. It's really bad. By Democrat standards, by any sane, rational human standards, it's kind of like, okay, a young guy was macking it to chicks on the internet trying to hook up with them, and that's it? Sure, I guess. But while many people on the right are coming out saying, leave Harry alone, because he's just a young man trying to get him some, I'm like, dude, the world Harry Sisson seeks to create is causing harm to young Gen Z men. Gen Z men are no longer talking to women. They are no longer going on dates. They are struggling to form relationships. And Harry Sisson is part of the problem. Now, I'm of two minds on this one. Harry Sisson, he's got 1 million followers, he says, on TikTok. I don't follow him on TikTok, so I wouldn't know. He's got a couple 100,000 on X, and he loves using that status. This is what these guys do. I mean, come on. Talk to Myron Gaines, right, over Fresh and Fit podcast. He'll tell you, if you're a guy, you got a verified account with a lot of followers, the ladies will slide in your DMs. And that's what he's accused of doing. Basically, the accusations are that simultaneously, Harry was talking to at least a dozen or more women, saying, you're the only one for me, baby. Let me see some of them photos. And then sending messages to them. Now, there's a little back and forth here. Some of these women are sharing the images he sent back, which it's like, it's a big no-no. We're not going to show any of that stuff, okay? Not that there's anything like overly explicit, but the women were sending pictures of their butts, not like nude or anything, like in their clothes, like taking like body shots. And then he responded with face shots while he was in the bathroom. Ugh, jeez. So the point is this, we'll go through this story, but I got to tell you, my friend, I'm going to blur the images just in case, because, we'll put a light blur on it just in case. I don't know to what degree. I don't think there's anything explicit in there, to be honest. But this is the important part of the story. Gen Z men are having a really hard time. They're not making the same amount of money as the previous generations, or at least accumulating the same amount of buying power. They're struggling to meet people. Harry Sisson and the Democrat world would punish men. Remember that video, 10 hours of walking through New York as a woman? Sure, some of these guys followed this woman and they were creepy. Okay. The criticisms in this video, some of it was a guy saying, morning. There's one guy saying, like, how you doing? And they were like, oh, God, how could this be? That's the world he lives in. That's the world Harry promotes. So I say, live by the sword, good sir. You want to promote this feminist, far-left, Democrat, intersectional woke worldview where young men struggle, you ain't getting any special treatment. And a lot of people are coming out on the right being like, leave him alone. Men have it hard enough. It's his fault. Partly. But I say I'm of two minds on this because it's kind of like, partly, to be honest, if you're a guy who's too weak to figure it out and guys like this are exploiting it and running circles around you, I don't know what to tell you. That's natural selection, right, baby? But I will say this. We don't want to live in that world where smarmy scumbags like Harry Sisson are pushing these ideologies that make it hard for the average guy so they can be the sneaky effer. Okay, and that term, I'm keeping the language light, it's an actual biologic, academic term. Biology, academia. It refers to individuals who sneak their way in and trick women into relations instead of being the dominant, strong male. So typically in the animal kingdom, there's a guy of any animal type, and they're like, I'm very strong, and I'll protect you, and then we'll have babies. And the women are like, I like that. Then there are the sneaky effers. This is the actual academic term, where in the middle of the night, they crawl into the bed and trick the women, and that's how they reproduce. Here's a story from tribune.com.pk. I don't know if these images are actually graphic. I'm just not going to show them anyway, for posterity. Democratic influencer and TikTok personality Harry Sisson is facing controversy after allegations surfaced that he manipulated multiple women into sending explicit photos via Snapchat. Viral posts on X claim that Sisson engaged in inappropriate behavior with nearly a dozen women, with one alleged victim being a domestic abuse survivor. The accusations have led to heated debates online, with critics calling out his hypocrisy as a public advocate for women's rights. Indeed. Homie's got a tweet pinned to his profile. Let me pull it up, actually. Harry Sisson on X. He has a... Wait, what? That's weird. Let's try that again. He has a... did it just reload on me? He has a post on his X account where it says, like, women's rights. America has failed women tonight. There you go. America's failed women tonight. Trump bullied, assaulted, and stripped reproductive rights away from women all across the country. And instead of standing against it, many voted for it. We have failed our daughters, mothers, and sisters. You too, I guess, because you got the scandal here. Republican activist Sarah Fields is among those who exposed Sisson, sharing screenshots and TikTok videos from women claiming to be victims. I want to stress, these women went public on TikTok with accusations. Sarah Fields just said, hey, look, there's videos. Women are saying these things. She alleged that Sisson dismissed the women as insane when they confronted him and attempted to pressure one into publicly declaring the messages were fake. The revelations have sparked outrage, with many questioning why social media platforms have not taken action against him. One of the alleged victims, Carly, shared her experience saying that Sisson initially made her feel valued and respected. Over time, he reportedly convinced her to send private images, only to later reveal he had no intention of pursuing a committed relationship. When confronted, Sisson admitted that he had led her on, stating, I should have made my intentions clear. Yeah, baby, he just wanted to see a little bit. He didn't want to give you nothing. That's the world we live in, right? Where this guy is going to claim to be an advocate for women's rights, is going to push the feminist worldview, but he does not abide by it. So here's the thread. I've blurred the images. Again, there's nothing graphic in them, but I'm not going to show the screenshots from the Snapchats for a variety of reasons. Harry Sisson convinced 11 different women that he had no roster and respected them for more than their bodies while persuading them to send explicit photos of themselves through Snapchat, including a domestic abuse survivor. When the women discovered each other, I do want to stress, I just can't get through it without stopping. I don't care about this, but she was a survivor. Yeah, get out of here. Women can choose to do these things, okay? Harry is smarmy. That's it. He's a sleaze bag. That's what Democrats are, right? I'm not surprised. I don't think these women are all innocent. When the women discovered, Harry is guilty of being a dick. That's basically it. Going to him and be like, ain't nobody for me but you, baby. Why don't you send me that photos? And the women say, okay. And then he goes, I got a dozen women hanging in the background. See, that's scumbag stuff, not criminal stuff. But the women chose to send him these photos. The real issue is that Harry is a dishonorable scumbag. That's one way to put it. When the women discovered each other one by one, he called them all insane and attempted to coerce one of them into telling the public the photos were fake. A request to the reader, set political differences aside, I believe both sides of the aisle can agree that this is unacceptable behavior from a man-child with over 2 million followers. Does he really have that many followers, though? I don't know. Several of the women involved have made their stances public, but the videos are not receiving much traction. While Harry Sisson continues to collect millions of views for his videos, claiming that he is a supporter of women and champion of women's rights. Carly, one of Harry's victims, has described the situation in the most detail. According to Carly, Harry wooed her from the very beginning and convinced her that he respected her for more than her physical appearance. She said, even though she's embarrassed to admit it, she created a private chat to chat with Harry that was meant for his eyes only, where she shared explicit photos of herself with him. He loved it, and he loved that I was not entertaining anyone else the way I was entertaining him. He said that she was wifey material and was sold on her wife applications. After 6 months of the behavior, he told her he didn't want a commitment. She accused him of leading her on, to which he admitted to doing so, but also said he should have made his intentions clear. And so it goes on. Receipts of other Snapchats. I'm not going to show any of this stuff. Again, it's all publicly available. Nothing's graphic, but it's people's Snapchat screenshots, and I'm not super interested in, again, nothing's graphic. It's like women wearing clothes and stuff. Here are the receipts of Snapchat provided by other accounts. It's unclear who these Snapchats were sent to. It goes on, but that's basically it. Here's a guy who lives in a world where you must function a certain way, but he won't. Now, there's a few responses, and I'll show you. Let's go to this one. And I don't know that I need to. I think we can take that blur. SNN News and Politics and Sports. This is Samantha. She says, I can't stand Harry Sisson, but calling women who sexted with him victims because he was chatting them up for nudes is insane. They are not victims. 93% of adults sex. Just because it didn't work out for you doesn't mean you get to share snaps of Harry in the shower that he sent you privately. That actually is a crime. I hope he pursues those hoes in court. I'm so tired of women calling men abusers when they're literally just normal biological men. A man wanting to see your is normal. It's not forcing you to show them. He's flirting with you. You enjoyed it. You flirted back. Congratulations. You just sexted. Doesn't mean he's abusing you now that you found out he sexted other women. No. I disagree. if a normal guy were to have done these things. But Harry is not a normal guy. He is a staunch advocate against the very things he's doing. No sympathy, no mercy. They want to live in this world. And all you Gen Z guys out there, Harry Sisson wants to make it so you cannot compete in the dating marketplace as a reasonable, normal guy. Because of his actions and the politics he supports, when you walk up to a beautiful woman and say, "How do you do, ma'am?" she's going to say, "Predator," and pepper spray you. Not literally, I'm being hyperbolic. You get the point. They're going to create an atmosphere, guys like Harry, where you could face serious social repercussions for trying to meet a woman in public. For the most part, these things don't happen. But he is creating a social environment of fear around it. No sympathy. He wants to play this game. He wants to live by the sword. You know how it goes. It just makes it that much harder for women who are real victims. We get it. We get it. That's how it goes, right? Yellow Flash Guy next says, "That's crazy. Men really are just giving up." Take a look at this quote. And we covered this story before, but, a sizable minority of men are not approaching women at all. In the entire data set, 29% of men said they never approached a woman in person before. 27% said it had been more than a year. This was larger for men in the age 18 to 25 group. 45% had never approached a woman in person. This is again consistent with the hypothesis of a generational risk aversion trend in Zoomers. 17% had not approached a woman in more than 1 year. Never and more than 1 year are discrete groups. This means that about half of all single men in my data set are effectively not approaching women for dates in person. Okay, well, we could basically say like what? Bumble, Tinder, or whatever. My point with this is while Gen Z struggles, it is the hyper-left scumbaggery worldview that continually makes it more difficult. People like Harry Sisson are privately macking up to all these women, as normal guys do, I get it, but publicly saying, "How dare you?" Creating social pressures for other men. He is basically playing this game of, he's a sneaky effer. He wants to use social pressure to shut out any competition while he privately is playing the game. They say don't hate the player, hate the game. Maybe if that's all he was doing. But publicly, the game this guy is playing is to destroy the social fabric so that what? He can get nudes? You're not even gonna have kids that way. He also posted a video of like a woman rubbing his face and him smirking at the camera. He is a smarmy scumbag who doesn't believe anything that he says, nor does he truly understand it. He is just a slimeball Gen Z typical bro who wants to mack it to chicks and is playing the game, the male feminist game we have long warned about. What's the meme? 0 days since a male feminist was shown to be a predator. Now, again, I know people on the right are saying he's not a predator. You can't say that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, you do not get to advocate for this world. And then when you're caught, people come and defend you. I ain't playing that. Angela McArdle, she's a friend. She says, who cares? This is pathetic. No, I disagree. For young men right now, they don't think it's pathetic. Gen Z guys, 18 to 25, who I see these stories all over the internet. I just did a story last week where a guy was invited to hang out with a chick. She falsely accused him of really disgusting things, and he went to jail over it. He wasn't convicted. They arrest him, they lock him up, they seize his belongings, and then it turns out she made the whole thing up, and there was no proof. Forensics came back and said, literally, there's no evidence of anything, and this guy has to endure that. 10 years ago, we had the Me Too movement. These guys do not get free passes. None. Mike Carlos says, in what universe was this girl a victim? I'm not going to argue they are. I'm going to argue that Harry Sisson is a scumbag who should not be getting sympathy from anybody. He should live by the rules he wants you to live by. He wants to play that game. I'm holding him to it, baby. But a lot of people are basically saying this. This isn't a scandal. Come on. Don't hate the player. You know what, man? This is what I can't stand about the right. The left consistently and continually does these things. They call Trump. They say right now, Trump is violating the Constitution. What do we do? When in reality, it's their judges that are violating the Constitution. And because Trump is like, yo, you can't do that. That violates the Constitution. They're like, aha, that proves that Trump did it. Harry Sisson says women are under attack and we have to be this, that, or otherwise. And he wants to live in that world. He is the fake male feminist. And then behind the scenes, he's got a big list of women. He's got a little red book, and he's going through names saying, send me pics, baby. And then people on the right are like, that's totally fine that he's doing it while publicly burning the country down socially. I ain't playing that game. Harry Sisson, canceled. And you know what? Why would the right defend him? Even if your attitude was like, I really don't care that he did it, the attitude should be, yeah, I don't care what he's doing, but I'm glad to see the scumbag get canceled by his own side. These are your rules, bro. If you want those rules for us, you live by those rules. No more rules for thee, but not for me. I ain't playing that. I'm going to wrap it there, my friends. Stay tuned. We got more segments coming up today. Thanks for hanging out. We will see you all in the next bit. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast, and stay tuned.